And finally tonight, a look at what 9/11 means to people in Afghanistan, both the people who live there and the Americans fighting the Taliban. Special correspondent Adam Pletz was embedded with U.S. Marines in southern Afghanistan and put that question to both groups.
Helmand in southern Afghanistan is the province that has borne the brunt of the fighting between the Taliban and coalition forces. What would Afghans in this war-torn province think about 9/11 and its consequences? But first, what would the Marines think of the seemingly obvious question I wanted to put to the Afghans?
Okay, I just want to ask you guys, have you heard of 9/11?
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
And what does it mean to you?
After a lengthy silence, which perhaps said more than words could, the lieutenant in charge voiced some thoughts.
The whole approach that we had coming into adulthood, it's kind of hard to separate that, as I said, because we grew up with it and grew up with a shadow of it.
Sar Banadar village is typical of many in Helmand. Poverty and negligible, if any, government services, together with 3 decades of war, have prevented virtually any development. With the high rates of illiteracy and the lack of infrastructure, the villagers essentially live in what's close to a media vacuum. As Helmand goes, however, it's at least relatively peaceful, but there are still very real threats. On the first day the Marines set up next to Sar Banadar, they found some 12 IEDs in and around the village.
Just a heads up. Nice. Found another IED.
Sexy. What is that?
And where is it?
It's right over there. You can actually see them down off the side of the cliff.
While waiting for the demining team, one of the Marines wanted to comment on their silence when asked about 9/11.
So that not so much eerie, but understood silence between each other. Reminds you of all why you're here and exactly what you're doing here. But some of us still have a personal vendetta with the beings that roam here, being the Taliban, and still connect that to 9/11. I do myself. And, here comes the 10-year anniversary, and I still find it very personal.
The lieutenant also had a few words on what the Afghans might think of 9/11.
I think at this point, in a sense, it is ancient history to them, and rightfully so, because their problems are very much in the here and now. Problems of security, problems of economics, etc., which are perhaps a result of September 11th, but far removed at this point. Osama bin Laden isn't ruining these people's lives.
The following day, I get a first opportunity to ask a couple of young Afghan men what they know about 9/11.
Yeah.
No, they never heard about this.
Yeah? Can you show them a few more? And can you ask them, do they know where it is even?
Say we're farmers. Like every time we're just working in our field, so we do nothing. We don't know about anything else about the world. We don't know, so that's because we're a farmer. We never heard about anything else about the world.
Adam, if you don't mind, I got a couple more questions for
Sure.
these guys. Just wanted to show them with these pictures. As you know, we're here for your security, but your security is tied to our security. By keeping this area safe, keeping your family safe, we keep our family safe, and that's the reason that we're here. Big time motorcycle coming through.
The 2 young men had clearly never heard of 9/11, but maybe the elders at a local shura would have more to say.
Yeah. No, they didn't see it. He's saying I just can see the smoke from the buildings, and that's it. That's the only thing I can say. When you guys show this picture, that guy saying I think that was a Kabul.
If I had just gotten here, I would have been surprised, but having been here now for 6 months, I'm not. This is pretty much the Stone Age is where we are.
And what did you think about their reactions?
Oh, I thought it was fascinating. The guy who said it was Kabul was clearly had never been to Kabul. It just shows you how isolated they are, even in their own country. It was nice to go from Iraq to then here. It was a lot easier to understand, why you're here and bring yourself. You have that picture. You can always pick up the picture to remind yourself, okay, this is why we're here. I don't like looking at those pictures. I haven't looked at those pictures. I've intentionally avoided those pictures for 10 years now. So to see them pulled out here and to see the Afghans looking at it in this context while wearing the uniform and carrying the rifle it took me back.
They're saying the Americans saying we're gonna help you. They destroy one building and they destroy us how many buildings? And they say we're gonna help you. Where is the help?
I do sympathize or understand what some of them were saying is, yeah, your buildings were knocked down, but how many of our buildings have been knocked down? And so when you can't even feed yourself or house yourself, how are you going to care about somebody 6,000 miles away? So I can understand that.
Amazingly, in a country where for 10 years a war has been fought with 9/11 as its root cause and justification, it turns out not only were the villagers oblivious to 9/11, but so were the Afghan police, and even some of the translators working with the US military.
But you don't know the history of this event?
No, I have no idea about the story of this.
Have you ever seen these pictures before?
No, I didn't.
In fact, after showing the images to dozens of Afghans, I only found one person who clearly recognized them and could connect them to the US's initial reason for coming to Afghanistan, and that was the police district chief in Marja.
So he says that the Taliban, the terrorists, they attacked to the building of New York and they killed most of the people. They destroyed this building. So that was the reason American force today came in Afghanistan.
But that police chief is an exception. A survey taken in 2010 by the International Council on Security and Development found that 92% of Afghan men in Helmand and other Afghan provinces had no idea what 9/11 was.